So something I have not been doing during this whole lockdown thing is getting enough steps in during the day, and it is the long Chinese New Year weekend. So while everyone in England is still working or working from home, I am off today and on Monday. So I'm going to try to get some steps in. A lot of the parks here have been closed over the past few weeks because of flooding in this part of England. So I haven't really been able to go to parks, but there is pavement, and so I'm just making excuses. It is about 1 o'clock. It is as warm as it is gonna get today, but it's still cold. So that's why I'm wearing a scarf, a sweater, and it is beautiful and sunny outside, but it is damn cold. So I'm just gonna walk north a little bit, just walk around town, try to get in at least 8,000 steps. That's really low for me, but high for me for the past few weeks. Gonna try to get back into it. I think this is the best way forward, and it's something that I need to do for myself and for my clarity of mind and for my physical well-being. So yeah, no agenda, just gonna go do that. Behind me on my desk here, usually I sit there when I film stuff, but over there I stuck on Post-it notes on the walls. I mean, I can't nail anything into the wall because I'm renting this apartment, but over there I've stuck some ideas for domestic vacations that I'm hoping to be able to take if vaccines go really well here in the UK over the next few months, and in case we're able to travel in the summer. I suspect that international travel is kind of off the cards for the next 10 months, because if you go somewhere and like you bring a variant of the virus back, I mean, no one's gonna be happy with you. But if we are able to travel domestically, there are some really good ideas in all the newspapers lately because everyone's thinking about having the Great British Summer. So I have been clipping those out and sticking them to the wall on Post-it notes. Anyway, let's go outside. I gotta take my recycling out too. I've been walking for a while. I realize I'm dressed kind of crazy. Like I'm wearing a scarf and a puffy jacket and a sweater and like socks and like Argyle socks and sneakers, but I feel okay. I feel warm. I feel like I've forgotten how to dress now that I haven't really been in public that much, but I'm gonna walk down by the river. I've just crossed a bridge by Port Meadow, and I think Port Meadow's pretty flooded, but I'm just gonna walk down south by the river to see where it takes me. So let's see. So beautiful and so quiet down here. Actually, there's just like a bunch of houses that have gardens that go out onto the river, which is so nice. Yeah, this is such a nice walk. I'm so glad it's nice out today. It has really been snowy and raining all week, so I haven't been out, and it just feels so good to get out. And just to see like that there's still like life outside, and it's almost coming up on spring here, so the vibe is super good. All right, I'm home. Let's do a step check. Not bad. 11,418. You guys, that felt really good. I think that today is probably the first day since we went into Tier 4 lockdown, so since December 26th, that I have gotten more than 10,000 steps in one day. And I guess I sort of forgot what it's like to try to hit a step goal every day. In the beginning, when we first went into lockdown, I was so busy like settling in and like setting up my apartment and making sure I was home to receive deliveries of food and home accessories and just, stuff I needed to make sure I was set up to go back to working from home in January, that I wasn't that worried about hitting my step goal. I also didn't realize that, I knew this. I don't think I realized that after a month, the weight would start to creep back on, right? So I have been on this wellness/fat loss journey for about a year and a half now, since June, July of 2019. And it has been very start, stop. I originally started doing it because basically Hong Kong had sort of gone into this really strange open, close, not really lockdown schedule before COVID because of social unrest. And then when COVID kicked off, things were closed, things were open, there was nothing else to do. And then gyms started to be open and closed. And what I realized was that when gyms were closed in Hong Kong, like up to a period of 3 months when I was living there, and now I think it's also been closed for about 3.5 months, I was sort of able to maintain my weight loss up until that point, or my achievements up until that point, because I was still in this very controlled environment where I was living and eating a very specific way, and I was still hitting tons of steps because I had already built it into my schedule for so long. Moving here to England, even though, okay, great, like I'm excited, I have my morning schedule down, I am doing home workouts regularly, I do feel like I'm making progress strength-wise, even though I don't have access to a gym and weights and machines and stuff like that, but I still feel like I am making progress on that side. I have not been very vigilant about my macros and the calories and like the nutrition I need to be able to stay on my weight loss journey. And I also have not taken more than like 2,000 or 3,000 steps in one day. Like I take like maybe 2,000 steps if I go to the supermarket, or if I go to the supermarket that's like slightly farther away from my apartment than like the closest supermarket. So those two things combined, like for me, it's a triangle thing. I don't know if it's like that for everybody else, but if I am hitting my correct macros every day and I'm doing strength training / have a routine and I'm getting all my steps in and I'm really trying to hit 13 to 18,000 steps on average a day, which I've not done now in almost 2 months. Then if I have those three things, then I will definitely be making progress. But if I only have 2 of those things, I can maintain and I can probably make progress. So if I am weight training and eating correctly for my plan, but if I don't have time, for example, when I used to get really busy at work, but if I don't have time to do like 15,000 steps a day, I can still lose fat, make progress, lose weight. And if gyms close and I can only eat correctly and do the steps, I will also make progress and lose weight. I may not maintain my strength that way, but right now, gyms are closed, I'm not hitting my macros, and I'm not doing my steps. So no wonder I feel like I'm not making progress. In fact, I'm regressing. That said, I'm trying not to be too hard on myself about it, because this is a really weird time in the world, and there are some things you can control and some things you cannot control. And I want to try to remember to look at myself and my life in a more holistic way, and not just focus on the one thing that I'm not feeling so great about right now. So I have to remind myself that, so I keep on saying it in these videos, right? I feel like a lot of times these videos, I'm just sort of talking, it's sort of for me, like, it's almost like therapy. Just hearing myself say things out loud helps me reconcile them with like reality, right? It just helps me reconcile myself with what is actually going on. So I have a morning routine. I've moved countries. I've only been here for under 2 months and I already feel very settled in. I've gotten into a good routine. I feel like I am making progress with myself. I feel better inside here, and I'm cooking a lot of my own meals, except for this thing I'm just about to eat. I gotta show you guys. I picked up a Dr. Pepper Zero because I love Dr. Pepper. And I have not eaten one of these since I've been back, but this is my favorite convenience store / supermarket ready-made sandwich in England. It's prawn mayonnaise. I love it, and it's on brown bread. So I got this from Marks and Spencer on my way back from my walk. So I walked all the way up to, I think I walked all the way up to like Walton Manor, which is not that far, but it's farther than I've walked in a long time. I think I walked like the upper end of Walton Manor, and I looped back down by the river, all the way down the river to George Street. I went to the Chinese supermarket to buy some dumplings because it is Chinese New Year. Happy New Year. I feel so lucky sometimes that I have like all these cultures that I was brought up with, and I get 2 New Years. So I get regular January 1st Western New Year, but then I also have like a Lunar New Year / Chinese New Year every year. My family never celebrated Chinese New Year super big, but I do feel like I always remember that it happens, and it's nice to have this buffer. Psychologically, it's a good buffer for me. It feels like there's like 4 to 6 weeks in between New Year and then my real New Year to procrastinate New Year's resolutions or to have like a second chance. I don't know. Like I was saying, I have been cooking more. I do feel like I have been making a lot of good decisions lately. So I want to remember to look at myself holistically, like in a slightly bigger picture than all of this like focusing on the negative that I do tend to slip into, especially when left to my own devices, and lockdown is perfect for that. Speaking of looking at the bigger picture, I've been having some kind of casual conversations with friends I've had for a long time, and I do feel like I wanted to talk about this because this is sort of related to what I was just saying. I feel like this lockdown, I have only been in it for just under 8 weeks. So I feel very lucky that I've only had to experience this for the past 8 weeks. And I actually don't know how you or any of my other friends who have been living in lockdown for a year now, I don't know how people have been doing it. The past 2 months for me, just being back in England and being in Tier 4 lockdown has been incredibly challenging psychologically, and I have had to spend a lot of time giving myself pep talks. And over the past couple of weeks since I've been here, I've been on a closer time zone with my friends in New York and in LA than I was when I was in Hong Kong. And so I've been casually like texting and like WhatsApping and like talking with people a bit more. And I realized that I am not the only one who's like beating myself up over a perceived like flaw or like bad behavior for me. It's not eating correctly and not getting my steps in. I feel like when I talk to my friends, a lot of my friends are blaming themselves for circumstances in their life that it's not their fault, or that they've forgotten everything that's happened before lockdown. And I just want to say that if you feel like this, if you feel like you're in lockdown in a certain situation because, you should have done better beforehand, or you should have tried harder, or you should have done this or done that, and then you wouldn't feel like this in lockdown, I just want to say to you that don't forget, don't erase everything you've done. Don't erase all the effort you've put in before, and don't forget who you are. I think lockdown has changed everyone's lives in ways that no one could have predicted, right? Like 2 years ago, no one, it would have been unimaginable 2 years ago to say the entire world is going to stop for more than a year and you won't be able to leave your home. You won't be able to cross state lines, cross country lines. The airline industry will grind to a halt. Retail will grind to a halt. You'll barely see your friends ever. You'll spend months and months without true, meaningful, quality human contact. You will go a year without hugging someone. These are things no one could have predicted 2 years ago. And if you are beating yourself up because you're single, or because you aren't in a job that you like, or because you didn't start a company, or because I don't know what it is, but don't beat yourself up, because you are bigger than this lockdown. This lockdown is not the be all end all. This is God willing, this is not it, right? Like this is just a moment where everything is standing still. And even though it feels like things aren't happening and it feels like you cannot move forward, the world is going through something. Something is happening in the world that it's out of all of our controls. But remember to pull out your perspective and look at the big picture. Remember, there was a before and there will be an after. I know this is all very vague, but I've just had so many conversations with friends where I feel like people are really down on themselves and really blaming themselves for being in a situation where it's not their fault. And I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I guess you'll know if you're feeling it, because sometimes I feel that way too. Yeah, that's my vague pep talk of the day. It's not your fault. There was a before and there will be an after. I am going to eat my prawn mayonnaise, my always delicious prawn mayonnaise sandwich now, and drink my Diet Dr. Pepper. I had breakfast this morning pretty late, so I haven't been hungry, and plus I went on that great walk. I really enjoyed it, and I think I'm gonna have to do a walk. I'm going to commit to doing a walk every single day for this long weekend, and then I'm also going to try to figure out, I guess it'll be easier because it'll be light out for longer coming up. I've already noticed the sun rises way earlier now than it did a month ago, so I'm going to try to work in long walks during my day every single day. That is the next thing I'm going to do. So I nailed down the morning routine. I'm doing my home workouts. I'm going to go on my walks, and I'm going to work on my nutrition. What I feel like is that I'm not going to tamp down on that entirely, because I do feel like I would like to address one of the other corners of the triangle first. So I've got the workout down. Now I'm going to work on my steps. And then last, I'm going to really hone in on my nutrition. So that's where I am right now in my journey. So yeah. Okay, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I do these vlogs sporadically. I try to get at least one video up a week, and yeah, hopefully lockdown ends soon. I'm excited about my wall of British vacation ideas, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we get to go somewhere this summer.